for me personally, it deserved a funeral of sorts. Cause KC is definitely more about the friendship than the music.
Sup, aku Adli. Welcome to another episode of Korek Physical. Hari ni, I think it feels good to be back after 4-year break. And hari ni aku ada special guest, an old friend, Smack. Ataupun, I think most of you guys kenal sebagai Abaye.
Baguang.
Abaye. How are you, man?
Hey.
Huh? So what's new?
What's
baru?
new? Untuk No Good, kita tengah siapkan EP.
Okay.
Like a 5-6 song EP. I think it's 5 songs. Memang lagu semua hardcore punk je. Like all hard songs. So kita nak keluarkan this hardcore phase dulu.
Okay.
Sekarang tengah siapkan, waiting for some guest vocalist. Nak siapkan mixing, masukkan efek-efek then yeah, probably out by Chinese New Year. See how, tengoklah, tengok macam mana.
Laju lah.
70% dah siap dah pun.
So guest artist kau cakap tu kenapa guest singer?
Guest singer tapi macam like backing vocals or just like macam gang vocals. Kita cuba nak celebrate the women in hardcore punk. Because I think also lagu tu pula macam personally aku tulis lagu tu in response of banyak kes-kes raba dekat gig kita.
Okay.
So 2023 aku pun dah dah lama dekat sini. Community punk sekarang dah agak strong, dah agak empowered tapi masih ada. So like kita cuba celebrate tu lah. Just a small song lah but it's a gesture lah for us.
So aku agak intrigued bila kau cakap kau nak keluarkan yang hardcore punk tu, meaning what's next tu apa dia?
Next tu kita cuba nak go like a bit more pop sound.
Okay.
Like mungkin fully pop-ish, bukan pop tapi pop-ish lah.
Okay.
So kau fikir macam zaman Offspring ke, NoFX, riff macam tu lah, like clean.
Okay.
Not your sekarang ni kita banyak dengar macam hardcore punk sangat kan.
Yes,
Macam hardcore jahat ni. So tu mungkin like a bit more clean lah aku rasa.
Kenapa?
Kita pun No Good ni macam kita explore the spectrum of the punk sound kan. So aku rasa as kita pun dah explore and kita pun berumur macam ni, so kita dah explore dah like towards the end of the spectrum lah setakat ni lah. And untuk yang EP ni pun ada macam beberapa elemen baru juga. But also like for me aku pun dah kurang pergi hardcore punk gigs. So selalunya dulu macam awal-awal No Good I really take energy from there. I don't wanna fake it. Kita macam keluarkan dulu yang tu. Sebab sebentar lagu tu semua kita tulis masa kita pergi gig hardcore punk ni.
Okay.
And then the next ni aku rasa memang lagu dah tertulis. We just wanna make it more personal lah to us. For the LP nanti.
I mean, for aku punya own curiosity, right? Macam mana daripada KC, the transition to No Good? Kau nak, let's do this in, your native tongue, kan?
I think for the first part of it, like as in like making riffs on ni, so dulu macam masa KC kita selalu macam, just jam out. Processing macam tu, like we would jam out in the studio. Dan kalau keluar lagu lah. Kalau tak. And dalam selit-selit masa ni, time ni aku dengan Ali Jo, Cik Ali, kita selalu pergi gig hardcore punk lah. Dan kita masih ada terasa kehangatannya daripada tu masuk studio dan kadang-kadang kita just jam out lah. Usually kita jam out macam hardcore riffs, bodoh-bodoh or like lagu sial kita boleh dengar, lagu Total Jerks, mostly lah Southeast Asian hardcore punk bands lah. I think like in terms of KC kita songwriting like it took quite a while nak keluarkan and aku pun time tu dah tak kerja office lagi. So aku ada banyak masa and aku tak boleh tidur malam sebab aku risau kehidupan aku. So I just wrote it in the wrote the riffs and bila aku decide nak nyanyi in my native tongue tu, rewind sikit lagi. Bila aku mula dulu kerja satu agensi kerajaan ni dan aku selalu pergi rawat kawan-kawan aku dekat dengan every state lah and diorang akan cakap macam KC channel Smack, KC just slow sikit. Diorang cakap kau buka band baru je like daripada Sabah ke aku pergi Penang ke benda semua, dia akan ada seorang cakap yang tu lah. So after that dan aku banyak pergi gig macam gig tengok band Hong. Few bands time tu banyak nyanyi lagu in their native tongue. Aku dengar banyak lagu African pop 70s and then diorang macam ada this tak really 100% patois tapi dia ada patois tapi mostly diorang punya native tongue juga. So aku macam okay lah kita buat EP dulu. Dan for the first part Ali Jo ingat aku nak buat chorus je Kelantan. But when I came nyanyi full Kelantan macam okay this is no good lah. This is the brand from now onwards lah.
Susah. I mean like to put in terms of syllable apa semua nak masuk, nak blend in tu.
Aku rasa honestly natural, but sekarang ni rasa macam susah sikit pasal dah ada pressure. Maybe nak letak macam more syllables in one verse, ataupun sekarang aku cuba macam masukkan English phrases, kau nak cuba contemporize kan dengan sekarang. Mungkin dia selesa, dia natural at first, but to progress it aku rasa probably susah sikit. So kau nak cari angle yang macam how does this not get boring kan. K-pop ke lagu Hindustan apa benda semua, so I always like look back at that lah. Macam mana kau sampai your own dialect or your own language tapi in a more like global or generic setting lah.
So kau expect tak the response dia macam tu?
Tak langsung.
Honestly,
tak ada langsung. Aku just nak keluarkan, kita orang nak keluarkan EP je. Aku pun anggap No Good ni macam project, art project lah. But things got serious and aku pun got, we got serious. Then yeah, this is it lah.
No Good tu kenapa? Apa dia
No Good tu aku just macam nak cari nama band, dan aku tengok band orang putih macam Bad Brains lah, Sex Pistols lah, Rancid lah, meaning anything that has a negative,
connotation.
Connotation towards it, and it's good. Jadi aku nak macam nak dampen it because Southeast Asian people. So No Good tu kira macam tak bad lah. Dia macam No Good je. Maybe sebab kita orang macam ada bahasa Kelantan, so we get away with it lah.
So you also DJ right, Smack?
I also DJ, yes. DJing like for No Good, kita orang, aku dengan Alijo, kita orang buat No Good sound system. So meaning that one usually kita main benda yang related to No Good sound lah. Ska, reggae, dub, rocksteady, punk rock, indie rock, dangdut, reggae siam, dangdut siam. Sekarang aku cuba DJ drum and bass under the moniker Melo Goslow. So alhamdulillah ada orang panggil main show, terima kasih. Itu lebih pada drum and bass and current drum and bass lah aku rasa.
Macam mana boleh ke drum and bass pula tu?
Drum and bass lah music yang bagi aku memang aku discover di Kuala Lumpur. Sebagai KLian, aku dulu selalu follow Abang Irman kita. Dia selalu buat bar culture and then a lot of them habis nights dulu lah. Space bar, kalau tak space bar pun dia main seorang kan. So aku rasa tu quite a routine for me and a few friends of mine. Arwah Mama, rest in peace. So aku dah tinggal lama, dah tak ada benda tu. Masa aku rasa there was a resurgence of drum and bass, and baru-baru ni aku pergi Berlin, and Berlin tu ada macam this DJ lah, dia main drum and bass. Sebab dulu aku tak pernah cuba main drum and bass, tapi aku boleh DJ. Saya lama saya tak dengar drum and bass. So aku balik, then we had a gig yang Vans nak minta main atas LRT tu.
Okay.
Then Alijo dia cakap, dia propose, aku nak main drum and bass. So bila cakap dia nak main drum and bass, aku dah panik lah. Drum and bass tak boleh main macam tu je, it's not like reggae kan. So aku beli CD dan aku practice lah. Aku practice, lepas tu aku sangkut. Okay lah, yeah, I'm learning, not good but learning lah.
Okay, kita akan sembang banyak lagi dengan Smack lepas ni. Kita akan tanya dia punya first music love, music crush and stuff. Okay, Smack.
Yo.
Kau ingat tak first cassette sebelum kau beli yang kau first ada impact to your life?
Paling awal aku ingat ialah compilation KFC.
Serius tak?
Kau ingat? Ada satu tape loko lagu dulu na I'm so lucky.
So lucky.
So time tu dia release, aku rasa sama time dengan yang ada tabung yang masuk duit tu.
Yang ada lagu tu.
Yang ada lagu tu. So it was around the same time. So dia ada keluar kaset. I mean like in terms of kaset aku tahu okay, benda ni format ni lah main music lah. Then other than that aku just membesar dengan kaset. Kereta arwah bapak aku ada kaset player of course, tapi kaset tu rosak. So dia macam Elvis punya medley tapi in Cha-Cha punya remix. Tapi dia berterusan. So bila kau drive KL daripada Kota Baru, kau tak ada pilihan lain dengan kaset tu je sebab kaset pun come out the player. So benda tu psycho bagi aku. Personally for me mungkin Cypress Hill aku rasa. Album
Black Sunday.
Yeah, Black Sunday. Yeah, Hits from the Ball, I Wanna Get High, Inside in the Membrane. So dia beli dua. Dia beli Cypress Hill dengan Pearl Jam 10. Then later on baru aku macam caught on the Pearl Jam punya fat lah. But earlier on aku hooked on Cypress Hill. Very impactful lah kat aku Cypress Hill in for that tape lah.
So macam the piece of music yang buat kau cakap I want to do this too.
Probably it's either Ramones, The Cure or Clover. Clover.
Clover tahu?
So it's like that lah. So bila aku Clover tu it feels like Kau ada energy sel, punk rock. Like sebelum tu kau dengar, you know, Sex Pistols, kau dengar Ramones. Yeah, it's punk rock, but maybe zaman tu dia tak contemporary kan. But Clover is the most contemporary zaman aku membesar time tu. So macam, okay, tune. So this is the style of playing guitar now, not macam tu. This is the style of solos now.
So Clover was the band yang buat kau nak pick up gitar.
Probably yes, but I never like learn a Clover song. I mean like just one lah.
So yang masa Cypress tu tak ada buat kau nak jadi...
Ada, aku masa sekolah, actually aku sekolah rendah, aku cuba nak jadi rapper. Aku hari guru, masa tu aku darjah 5, darjah 6, aku perform lagu Nico. Inilah nasibku dekat hari guru. So aku macam nak perform lagu tu, tak ada orang nak perform. Tapi aku macam nak perform juga lagu tu. Aku tanya 2 orang ni, kau boleh menari tak? Macam, boleh kot. So esok aku bawa dia orang key dengan hoodie, dia orang kat belakang aku je menari, tapi aku rap betul rap.
Itu one off tak bersu lah.
Itu one off lah. So aku balik, bapak aku menganjing aku, so I think like, you know what, I'm not gonna be a rapper.
Meaning kau pick up gitar umur berapa?
Aku pick up gitar probably umur late in my life lah. I think like 13, 14 baru ni lah. Because aku susah nak convince mak aku belikan gitar tu aku. Kakak aku kena convince kan tu aku. Then after that like, you know, probably 15 aku start macam jamming, pergi studio kat Kota Baru dengan kawan-kawan lepas sekolah. Cover lagu Deftones, Korn, Pearl Jam pun cover, Rage Against the Machine.
Then at what point yang kau rasa macam the music tu mean more than just music pada kau? You know, kadang-kadang kita dengar je, but you know, there are certain points yang macam kita, actually dia inspire kau to do stuff lah, you know.
Aku rasa dia inspire tu more like a lyrical thing lah. But probably aku rasa when I was in college, aku rasa macam, okay, music means more to me than I just need to listen to it or I just need to, you know, like I like a band, I like ni. It's more like you attach a memory with it. So meaning kalau contoh aku minat gila The Cardigans. So bila aku dengar The Cardigans, aku attach dengan memory aku dulu, MMU aku follow balik Sapik, balik Kedah, Yellow Star. So all the way pergi balik, I would just listen to various Cardigans album. So kat sana aku dengar juga. So every time aku dengar The Cardigans, aku teringat Yellow Star lah. It's not just me lah, everybody else. Of course like, it goes way deeper. So I guess like macam bila kau lose seorang pun, like you always like, you know, there's a piece of music that comes with the person yang masa kau ingat dia kan. So I think more than motivation, I think it's more like a like a memory lah.
So kalau nak ikut right, in terms of bukan ideals, apa kau punya mantra, well, for lack of better word, mantra, right? So is it the indie rock punya ethos or punk rock punya ethos ke apa punya ethos for you lah?
Aku rasa definitely the ethos is punk rock ethos sebab aku, you know, I was lucky enough to be in the punk scene in KL, and punk scene KL pun ada international punya connection juga. So I can see, you know, how they work, how integrated they are, how much integrity they have. Even aku sekarang respect masih scene macam Singapore. Kalau ada sexual harassment, they won't let it go. They will make it a big fuss out of it, so you know everybody feels safe in the scene. Wouldn't say the same here, but so these are the things that aku macam really like help me see how to navigate within communities lah. And then aku ambil benda tu pun aku apply tu macam say kerja aku, or like, you know, how I handle a project. Even with no good itself, so definitely comes from that lah. And attitude wise aku rasa more like definitely kita dengar pada hip hop lah. You have that swag, kau ada that confidence, kau ada macam like, oh fuck everything, aku nak pergi, you know, it's about me, or like, you know, I'm doing it about my family or about ni. So aku rasa this punk rock and hip hop probably like and of course like reggae membuatkan kau lebih chill. So that's the
combination
of those three lah.
Tak, aku rasa bila kita dah go through a lot, kita ambil certain
betul. Even kau minat kadang-kadang pun like kau minat an artist because of their persona. So music mungkin macam like, okay, let's say Chief Keef. Bukan lagu dia macam best semua pun. Tapi kau tengok macam Mamat Chicago ni macam fuck. Memang kau Chicago sah. So you know, so he's an icon. So he, you know,
tapi nak sampai level tu it takes
gila. Kau tak tahu live dia macam mana tu. Kau tak tahu dia bangun pagi kena suruh machine gun lalu kat rumah semua benda. So you know, it really takes your environment to make the music that you make.
Faham. Your first band?
My first band sekolah dulu band to band cover lah.
Apa nama dia? Kau ingat ke?
Quest Code. Pasal aku punya MRC name nama Quest Code. Tapi kita cover je, kita main gig. Tapi main gig dengan band-band Skinhead, main gig dengan band grunge. Aku memang macam tu lah. In the 90s dulu kan. In the 90s dulu. Then pergi MMU aku buat this band called Lesbian Art. Just for the sake of joining Battle of the Band.
Siapa nama budak yang kerja dengan Tun dulu bukan Muni apa?
Naim.
Naim Lesbian Art kan?
Naim Lesbian Art. Sekarang dia buka kawin1.com. Dia macam wedding punya servis tu.
Oh ya.
Yeah. Kau gaya one stop lah. So siapa nak kahwin, check out. Kawin1.com.
Kawin1.com.
Free plug bro.
Okay. So Lesbian Art.
Lesbian Art. Then after that aku Sapi, Lopong and a friend of ours, Fumble. Kita banyak dengar, time tu like ada Drive-In, Get Up Kids. Time tu pula dengar Mogwai, dengar Sigur Rós lah, you know. Then kita buat Sergeant Winner Arms lah. But I think that's more of an emo indie band rather than a post-rock band bagi aku lah.
Sarjan dia ada demo je kan? Ke tak pernah release?
Demo je kita buat sendiri je. And then kita orang keluar compilation tu lah, Body Surf tu.
Yes. Kopi Seven tu. Bukan, Radio Malaya.
Radio Malaya, ya.
So daripada the transition from Sarjan Winners ke KC tu macam mana? Sebab lepas Sarjan Winners, KC terus kan ke ada
masa lepas Sarjan Winners aku habis belajar because you know that was a college thing I think. Then bila start KC dah aku jumpa kawan-kawan luar college aku, jumpa Zamin, jumpa Alijo, jumpa Rafiq semua benda. Before that KC satu penjelmaan pertama sebelum sekarang berbum pecah. Itu pun semua hasil kerja dan stresses of work. Dan kau pun time tu masih dengar The Drive-In, dengar reviews. Time tu kita banyak dengar banyak barang macam Daniel Stripe Tiger, Ampere, a lot of like scram/emo shit that time. Time tu kan. And aku rasa bila start demo, that was the first. Then bila kita keluar EP tu, zaman tu keluar macam Tokyo Police Club, Tengah Hot, you know, all this like electro stuff coming out.
Zaman awal-awal Twilight
Twilight, yes. So zaman macam drum macam banyak hi-hat. Tu macam, so that we came out with the EP.
After ni EP yang apa? Valley of
the Dead. Valley of the Dead. So Valley of the Dead tu kira masa that's the KC punya line up before we broke up lah. So then I think that time pun kita dah tahu dah nak buat apa musically, like we have kiblat ni je. So then follow up dia lah buka Flex lah.
How serious was KC for you?
It was very serious, I guess. Like aku banyak delay not my life plans lah, but aku banyak delay benda pasal KC. Keputusan dia macam contoh should I go back to Kelantan, you know, aku ada KC. And big part of it bukan KC saja, I think it's the whole punk rock scene juga kat Malaysia ni, dekat KL ni. So I was enjoying that a lot. Feeding off that energy and going to that. So like a triangular thing, I guess. Even like 1 week after mak aku meninggal pun I came back from KB because we had a show at Zouk. So it was a bar sonic thing. I'm not saying that, you know, I should have stayed, but I think like, you know, it definitely plays a big part of me lah, cause you know, in KL that's all I had.
Faham? So the decision to put the band to rest tu macam
I think it was more painful when I saw like it wasn't doing anything but nothing is being done towards it. Macam bangkai tak nak tanam. So I think like for me personally it deserved a funeral of sorts. Cause KC is definitely more about the friendship than the music. So at one point macam kadang-kadang macam, you know, some people would just turn out to jamming benda semua. Tapi aku fikir macam kalau band lain dah tendang lah ni orang ni. But you know, it's more about the friendship rather than, you know, just making music. It's just about 4 of us being together in one space to make music. So by then macam Nogok pun dah doing alright, and I don't see KC reviving anytime soon. Nobody wants to talk about it. So I think like I just had to be, you know, the bearer of bad news. So just like propose lah.
Masa tayang Sulit tu, it was quite interesting phase lah kalau kau tanya aku lah. Sebab I think first time korang nyanyi in Malay, right?
Betul.
From a viewer point of view, cakap, so what's next?
Yeah, betul. And then like we had like good like 6-7 songs like written out. Itu lah dia. But you know, people man.
So what happened to sebab dalam tayang Sulit tu 2 lagu je kan?
2 lagu tu je.
4 lagu.
Lagu 4 lagu tu kita jamming ada dalam phone aku je lah. Yang macam jamming cicit. You know, like shit like that. Nothing proper.
So kita backtrack sikit. Apa yang what led to korang nak record in Malay masa tu?
I think we came back from Indonesia tu definitely. Bila kau balik Indonesia, bagi aku it was my first time It was our first time touring Indonesia as a band. Sebelum ni kita pergi dengan Orbit Cina Benjamin, but only like three states. Lepas itu betul-betul kita nak promo our product, which is like Bucaflex. And then kita pergi daripada start dari Sumatera sampai balik ke Bali. So we went to Sumatera, Jawa, pergi ke Bali. So bila kau ni, aku rasa like you learn a lot about yourself, or like learn about a lot about Melayu. Mana asal usul Melayu ni, and kenapa ada Melayu ni. Before ni tak ada Melayu. So macam mana boleh jadi Melayunya. Time tu kita orang dekat dengan, nama apa tempat ni? Cipanas. So Cipanas dia atas bukit, dia sejuk. So aku ingat kan dengar benda. So aku tanya dia macam, oh itu bunyi apa? Macam, oh itu gak apa, itu hanya suara air. Aku macam, what the fuck suara air? So aku macam, suara air tu macam, oh kalau Melayu panggil bunyi hujan. Tapi dia puji pasal kita, dia kata macam bunyi hujan tu lebih halus. Bagi dia lah kan, perspektif lah. So aku macam, tak, bagi kita macam suara air tu lebih poetic lah. Because the air is talking to you kan. Then aku dengar satu BFM punya like a podcast, and aku rasa mungkin diorang ni pun historian or anthropologist. Dia kata like zaman dulu kita macam air ni, sekarang kita think like rivers separate us, right? Tapi dulu sebenarnya air ni yang macam menghubungkan kita, because people travel through rivers and seas. So air ni sebenarnya right now is a border, but dulu dia menghubungkan kita. So basically dulu tak ada borders lah. Basically dulu just one flat land lah. So I think it's celebrating in that lah, like this Nusantara shit going on.
Okay. Kita intense kita tu. Kau punya first music crush, kau ingat apa?
Normal lah aku macam 90s kid. Kalau orang putih ke?
Tak kisah. Oh, ada dua lah. Kalau ada dua, kita share dua.
Kalau Melayu macam ni, kau tahu dulu penyanyi Singapore, Maizura?
Ya.
Maizura bro.
Dia on bro. Dia on.
So time tu, dia zaman tu Pony Canyon tengah.
Maizura Hamzah.
Maizura Hamzah. And aku rasa for orang putih, probably either Jewel or Gwen Stefani lah. Because you know you want a girl chick, you want a band chick.
Yeah. First disappointment as bila kau when you start playing music.
Aku rasa like definitely losing a bandmate. Memang kita ingat macam main ni bodoh-bodoh je, but then again kalau kau fikir like kalau kau every week kau spend 4 jam dengan kawan-kawan kau to and fro dengan studio, 2 jam di studio, 2 other hours travelling. You spend a lot of hours with your bandmates. And lagi-lagi kau college student, kau away from your family. So at the point yang kita orang nak main last ialah masa dekat dengan show dekat dengan KL Pack, Radio Malaya punya show. Then our other guitarist couldn't make it back. So kita main bertiga je lah. Betul kita dah berjamming 4. So we just like pull it through. Tapi aku rasa macam agak sedih. Aku actually like cried in the changing room. Tu aku rasa pertama kali rasa macam very emotional about like you said frustrated lah. Frustrated, rasa let down. But never like deterred me from getting with other individuals to make music lah. But like I said, it was real lah. Thank you for reminding me.
Kau punya first WTF, macam what the fuck saya macam ni
Aku rasa honestly no good lah. No good, it's like a big WTF moment. Honestly, we had a shitty show at Rock the World. But bila aku tengok satu video yang budak-budak nak masuk tapi Pak Gad tak kasi masuk, dan budak tu rempuh masuk, aku cakap kat abang aku, is this normal? So time tu aku discover it later on, maybe like a week after the show lah. And aku rasa time tu aku pun macam tak berapa happy dengan the tour, cause kita tak dapat buat finale dekat dengan Cerating as intended, but we played in Bukit Bintang, which is great.
Cakap pasal Bukit Bintang, kau tak rasa tu gila babi ke? I mean like
gila babi. Band? Yeah. Thank you Vance. Thank you Black semua kawan-kawan terlibat dengan Najib. Gila kak. Cause kita memang hell bent on doing a fucking show. Kita dah momentum sedap ni. And coming back from Kelantan nak main dekat dengan ni, aku macam we cannot let this happen lah. Tak boleh mati kat Cerating. Tak ada kat Cerating. So and kelakarnya mula-mula tu memang Mira ajak pun, tapi Mira ajak pergi as macam ambassadors lah. I mean lepak, socialize kan. Tapi bila kita propose, tu lah macam Munir dengan Mira, Ellen semua cakap on, aku macam terharu gila. We need to make it happen, but we also need to make it safe. So that's why we announce it like 4 hours je before the show lah.
Tapi tengoklah yang turn out pun 4 hours gila dia.
Ya tu. Dan masa KL Fashion Week. So I mean like grateful macam the fuck moment for with Alijo with Mai want to do that shit with me. Mira, Muni and Vance want to support us. Orang lain semua datang, and Najib pun just macam okay on je kan. So but tengah still jaga level semua benda. Kita macam bersyukur lah. Tak besar gila but I think we
gila kau tak besar.
betul.
For 4 hours before the notification dekat location macam tu.
Ya.
Besar tu.
Besar, insyaAllah. InsyaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Aku tak tahu cakap. Aku kurang bersyukur kot.
Okay, first local band yang macam caught your attention?
Oh, definitely macam like Butters or Dang lah. Like growing up. Aku ingat lagi, ada satu moment ni aku ingat 1.2. 1.2 kita orang dengar, 1.2 baru keluar. So kita dalam Dewan Pimpinan. Dewan Pimpinan, across the hall, kawan aku dengar, dia bawa Walkman biru. Dia macam, mau dengar apa dia? Butterfingers gila, 1.2 mg. Aku nak kau. Dia chuck cross dia ni, aku ambil, dengar tepi macam, aku dengar Knife Seat Chasm. Aku cakap, oh my god bro, this is everything. Dah. So lagi like betapa impactfulnya Butters punya feedback tu dekat dengan sekolah aku. Every time orang nak azan, orang dengar kan bunyi feedback kan. Cik, sebelum Allahu Akbar lah. Bunyinya feedback tu kita orang macam jeng. Kita orang confirm masuk neraka lah. Tapi korang jangan buat macam tu.
So macam kau first dips on the local scene, kau ingat tak?
First dips on the local scene, of course masa zaman keluar Seven Quality T-shirt, Love Me Butch, Prana, orang punya Family Day compilation tu. There was, sebelum tu adalah beli macam local, aku duk beli zine, beli Positive Thing, beli donut,
Positive Thing lama saya tak dengar.
So aku Edis. So time tu kita macam just macam lah, just minta yang baca macam baca review macam cakap band ni lah. Ada yang best, ada yang tak best, but aku just in the spirit of supporting regional music. So aku belilah band Kuantan, beli band Terengganu, beli Parkinson tu baru keluar aku rasa. And definitely masa KL, then there was a big impact lah. Sebelum SPM dengan lagu Coffee Cancer, God Rages Up, which is like crazy kan. Kau dengar kan, kau Kelantan 15 tahun dengar ni macam tu kan. Dan lepas SPM, kumpul duit, pergi KL, Bukit Jalil, pergi Underground 2000. I was embarking on a national underground journey lah. Then after that, I was a staple I guess.
So kat Kelantan macam mana dia punya scene?
Kelantan,
masa when you were growing up
when I was growing up, kita macam jamming dekat studio biasa. Aku rasa kat any small town, studio telur tu, studio sarang telur. Kalau gig masa dulu buat dekat dengan resort. So ada PCB Resort. So PCB Resort dia tepi pantai. Campur lah time tu Skinhead kuat. So sikit ada KB Rebel Squad, band Oi, The Panic ada time tu pula, Daffodils baru keluar. So it was a good wave of grunge and Oi. And kita orang kadang-kadang main new metal music and also rapcore. As far as writing originals, aku rasa baru in the 2000s ada, macam mungkin 1990X yang baru start. Tu pun aku dah kat dengan Cyber dah. So so these guys are like big ups lah, Joe Gege punya generation. So dia orang baru start writing own materials or like materials yang dia orang pun take seriously lah. Yang
aku recall sana the metal is huge. So after metal is Skinhead.
Metal, but Oi probably is like pretty much a KB thing je lah. Kat KB je lah. Kalau pergi KB, menjadi Skinhead lah. Sama ada tu ataupun kau set kepala kain lah. Kau pergi menyelam tu semua. Those are the subcultures that we had. Skate ada, tapi skate usually macam sekarang aku masih sama. Aku masih discover music through skate videos. So that's always a thing. But other than that, itulah quite in KB tu quite limited. Tak berapa banyak, ada mungkin ada satu zine, ada satu dua je. That's why aku rasa aku pun pergi keluar mencari something that's more like bigger lah.
Faham. Okay, kita akan sembang. Lepas ni kita bagi Smack dan mengorek-ngorek, and then kita tanya what he plans to buy or any albums yang ada impact to his life semua.
Singles bro, kalau kau tak pernah tengok singles, tak pernah dengar soundtrack dia, kau tak grunge. Aku yang cakap kan. Anyway, satu movie yang sebenarnya aku tak berapa faham sangat sebab aku amat juvenile zaman tu. Tapi untuk music memang ini kira rare cuts lah kan. Kita orang ada kaset dulu, and then kita orang masa sekolah dulu aku dengan band aku perform State of Love and Trust dengan Pearl Jam. Tapi aku rasa time tu aku mula jatuh cinta dengan Alice in Chains dengan lagu World lah. Okay,
But singles ni macam if you're in the 90s memang
Betul.
dia akan lalu lah. Ni
Yeah.
apa lagi movie-movie zaman tu? Yang soundtrack
Sleepless
the
in
best.
Seattle, High Fidelity aku rasa lepas tu.
Lepas tu kan. Bukan
yeah.
zaman ni apa? Tu Reality Bites.
Reality, yeah.
So, zaman tu soundtrack semua dia macam it was the compilation. Dia bukan compilation, it's more like soundtrack. Tapi dalam tu semua band-band yang kau sample.
Betul. Macam zaman tu ada Judgment Night.
Judgment Night.
Aku rasa dulu memang movie ni pun membawa budaya zaman tu, zeitgeist lah. So the soundtrack has to be, taken from the current band zaman tu lah. Paling recent lah, which tak recent sangat sebab aku dah tua. Ni lah Ada Apa Dengan Cinta.
Oh ya.
So itu satu soundtrack dengan movie yang Cun.
Yes,
So it shows the anak-anak gaul, anak-anak indie Jakarta zaman tu lah. Oh bro, okay. Ni album ni memang memberi impact yang besar kepada semua orang aku rasa.
Betul.
Yang pick up gitar umur belasan tahun. CCTV definitely, Horrible. Yeah, kita selalu jamming. Dan aku rasa bila just looking back, dan aku tengok video-video budak-budak kat KB jam lagu No Good sekarang kan. Macam wah, that used to be me, like jam lagu AG, Butters, lagu Kau Boleh Tendang semua benda kan. I think for that part aku rasa aku dah capai. Alhamdulillah, and thank you to band-band macam ni lah. Band-band macam OAG, Butters. Aku came up with zaman yang macam orang buat lagu simple. Macam, like power chords, ni semua benda. Kau dah membesar, kau dah biasa lah. Kau dah lebih complicated taste music kau. Kau dengar Radiohead lah, kau dengar post rock lah. Then kau pun macam malu nak main power chord. But when you revisit like songs like this semua benda, then kau macam, actually like there's no shame in writing simple stuff lah. Because that's the most powerful stuff. And simple is hard to do.
Betul.
So bila kau dengar album pop semua benda, kau dengar macam lemon pop. Tak, dia orang ada formula, and formula tu kau tak boleh buat.
Betul. It's not easy kot. Sebab I think bila kau nak jadi terlalu pandai, kau lupa macam mana tu keep it simple tu.
Betul. So macam lagu macam honestly like people just stick to like 4 beats macam kan, 4 to the floor. Kadang-kadang ada artis yang gempak gila. Bagi aku Little Uzi Vert. Little Uzi Vert satu artis yang gempak bila dia buat lagu I Just Wanna Rock, tapi lagu tu macam bukan format pop, tapi lagu tu dapat Billboard 400 or 40s. Comes in once in a while, but pop music don't hit on pop music.
The Clash.
Agak expected aku minat The Clash. Tapi kau pun tahu, aku pun banyak dengar pada The Clash, pada Adli. Kasih aku barang-barang.
Adalah, kita share.
Rare Clash. Tapi aku macam banyak music daripada kau sebenarnya.
Ya ke?
Like since aku...
Kita kerja dulu sama sekali lah.
Before that. Even zaman kau kerja tune lagi.
Yeah.
And kau akan pass barang kat Ham. And Ham akan pass barang kat aku. So in a way aku consuming second hand music from you. So bila Ham yang kau burn banyak gila CD Fugazi.
Kau tahu tak, itu kau cerita aku.
Bro, kat rumah aku bro.
Ya tak, sebab dia tak suka.
Sekarang
aku dah lah effort bahkan dia nak bagi complete discography.
So ingat zaman tu pun macam kau ada kasih aku macam a lot of like shoegaze stuff tu. Ni lepas kita dengar My Vitriol punya zaman, dan after that ada macam banyak CD burn. Yes. So aku rasa like honestly from a reggae point of view or like that point of view, aku dengar Clash dululah, baru dengar macam music yang ada dub. Kalau tak reggae je, reggae je. Dan bila saya dengar dub macam okay, then aku masuk loophole lah, Lee Scratch Perry lah kan.
Tapi aku rasa banyak orang dia overlook the dub side of The Clash.
Betul. And aku rasa The Clash sebab bagi aku memang dah first, okay, Sex Pistols cool, punk. Tapi kau ada keberanian nak masukkan reggae, kau nak berani nak masuk macam even lirik sebut Allah, bersikap sikit. That's real punk to me in a way of kau accumulate the cultures around you. Sebab time tu aku rasa mungkin London ada high Caribbean punya migrant influx coming in. Thatcherism mungkin zaman tu. So kau as an artist kau just respond to apa kau punya surroundings je. But apa yang kau masukkan dalam kau punya artwork tu, itu yang buat orang dengar macam, ada lagi, there's layers to this.
Sebab aku rasa dia one of the few punk bands yang musically, lyrically dia nak evolve tau.
Betul.
Banyak punk band 70s.
Exactly. Yeah. Kau ada Steve Littlefinger semua benda. Tapi bila Joe Strummer pun cuba nyanyi macam orang Jamaica, macam ada kau tahu, Mamat ni memang into the culture.
Yes. Tapi speaker of which, masa aku first dengar kau punya EP tu, demo kawe-kawe tu, aku rasa first thing that came to mind, kau ingat aku text kau? The Clash.
Oh ya.
Nice.
Itu dah dapat lah.
Ya.
Alhamdulillah, syukur.
Okay. Ni 650 Smack. Tak ada plan nak reissue ke?
Aku rasa kita pun bukan band yang jadi semacam reissue shit. And
Ah.
it's label yang release.
Ha.
Kita pun tak tahu master kat mana dah. master,
Serius ah?
Master tape-nya.
Ha.
Sebab kita bukan pegang aku rasa. Sebab went to the label. Or like maybe kita ada, tak tahu. Aku honestly not a nostalgic person.
Okay.
And carry on with, you know, the current music endeavours or like the ones that have not embarked on lah.
Faham. Out of curiosity, apa? Kau boleh cerita sikit cover ni?
Cover dia kita time tu kita macam tengah mencari idea untuk album. Konsep, kita tak cari cover je, kita cari macam konsep lah. Because kita tahu a narration works than an idea. Dan kita tengah fikir pasal okay, kita macam main punk tapi kita macam main math punk. So we were looking at mathematical symbols. So mula we started off with the infinity symbol je. So infinity symbol tengok macam okay, sebenarnya ada chart. So bila chart ni dia ada banyak maksud dia. So kalau kau perasan dalam artwork tu adalah. So the flags. So the flags are taken from mathematical symbols yang kita cuba olah jadi flag lah.
Faham.
So bila yang ni ialah dia punya simbol untuk for all, untuk semua.
Oh, ni maksud dia for all lah?
For all. Dalam ni album ni aku rasa it's more social, lyrically it's more social than political. And social meaning like kita nak, as in like nak make it more, maybe not equal but make it, you know, more equity than equality. So that was the thing that we were going for lah.
Yang ni? Apa maksud?
Endless Summer Crew ni kita ada dalam lyrics last, Good Things Don't Last Forever. Dulu Casey suka tour. So every release kita ada tour kecil-kecil. So Endless Summer Crew ni kita orang dan kawan kita beberapa orang ni, Kos Malaysia kan Endless Summer.
Yes.
So basically kita just on tour lah.
Rindu tak?
Rindu, but rindu. Aku rasa rindu more on like the time we spend together lah. And like you said, dia macam, you know, lagu dah tulis tapi tak terrakam lah kan. But yeah, it is what it is. Kau kena, as much as Allah nak kasih kau benda best, dia juga ada kuasa nak tarik.
Yes.
So whenever tarik, kau tarik je lah. Whenever dia kasih kau enjoy je lah.
Aku tahu ni soalan ni agak lame. CD ke vinyl?
Aku honestly sekarang simpan vinyl lah. CD dia banyak di rumah aku. Aku macam kadang-kadang macam banyak saya nak buang tapi aku tak buang.
Faham.
Cause you know, as much as aku cakap aku nostalgic, aku macam aku nak tu benda ni kat rumah aku. Tapi aku simpan vinyl, aku simpan tapes lah.
So aku macam kau cakap macam nak let go, tapi aku fikir ni
But
anak aku tu. Macam aku ada anak.
Ya. Tapi aku rasa CD is your thing tu. Sebab when I, you know, came to know you, memang CD banyak pada kau. Some aku pulang, some tak pulang.
Ya, biasa.
Sama dengan Ham. Tapi aku rasa lah, it's a thing. Even like banyak kat office yang, you know, aku ambil CD dari sana kan. And still, you know, still good ones. Normal lah ni, Refuse, Shape of Punk to Come. Aku minat Refuse the release sebelum ni. Rather Be Dead. Tapi bila album ni keluar, MV dia keluar, gila babi lah. Sama Holidays vs Punk Routine ni gempak. New Noise of course. So masa New Noise punya MV keluar, aku macam mind blown. Macam wah, budak kau pakai knitted vest, pakai macam uncle dan respect pula, macam bunyi elektronika so benda. Sama The Drive-In lah aku rasa dia punya effect dia. But it was more like macam fuck dulu kau hardcore tepu tu. But you're, you know, trying to do this. Aku memang respect orang yang suka challenge the status quo. But even like, you know, kalau kau tahu pun, kalau scene hardcore punk pun, as progressive as they are or as open-minded as they are, you have fucking gatekeepers. You have fucking, you know, like, you know lah, old heads lah yang macam, oi, kita tak buat macam ni, tak macam ni. But for that zaman, for me, you have to understand the whole setting first before fucking it up. Faham? Kalau nak datang, kau tak tahu apa benda, kau nak fuck up, you can fuck it up, but you are not earning the respect. So bila kau faham satu benda, let's say kau nak faham jazz, tapi kau faham dulu jazz, whatever counting or whatever lah, kan, daripada zaman bebop ke zaman ke soft jazz, benda kau dah faham, then you fuck it up.
Macam kau cakap lah, once you're once you're punkified.
Once you're punk enough. But to get that level lah, kau kena spend time. You have to do, it's not just music. Kau ada community work kau kena bully apa semua kan. Masih gempak. Aku suka The International Noise Conspiracy pun aku suka.
Itu pun sebenarnya daring tu. Dia lompat daripada ni begitu.
Like a punkified James Brown sound, right? But also like conscious lyric. So power. Refuse.
Caesar.
Aku hampir pakai Caesar hari ni sebenarnya, Adli.
Serius ah?
Hari panas so baju lengan panjang. Okay, sebab ni best show aku pergi lah aku rasa.
Ya.
Okay.
Kau tengok dekat Primavera?
Dekat Berlin tu.
Serious?
Random.
Serius ah?
Best show. Sebab dia, tak tahu lah, aku tak pernah pergi konsert Beyonce atau konsert, you know, like that kind of star. Tapi at a set tu dia macam keluar boat tu.
Ya.
So dia naik boat across the arena, so datang balik. So boat tu terapung. And then tengah nyanyi lah semua lah. And then adalah dia punya lain semua visuals macam gempak lah. But for me, vocal, sound, like the whole setting tu semua gempak. And aku just nak claim how much of a fan I am of SZA. Aku memang follow dia first release lagi. Tapi time tu sebab aku tahu dia sama label dengan Kendrick. So dia under Top Dog juga. But when aku dengar mula-mula, dia satu minat black, R&B, tapi dia minat alternatif. So dia dengan Nirvana, dengan SP and all that. It got me intrigued lah. Dulu maybe first dia amat a bit like, aku rasa how to say it lah, Lana Del Rey-ish.
Okay.
Dia mungkin macam cuba suara-suara yang macam tapi bila dia coming into this release, aku rasa dia lebih find identity dia lah. Dia tak malu menjadi SZA. And lagu dia pun lebih experimental. Lyrics dia like better expression. The latest album, Kill Bill, yang ada SOS, ada Kill Bill semua benda tu, mantap juga. But yeah, this is my go-to album lah kalau on a Sunday.
So kau sebut apa Kendrick tadi, TDE. I mean TDE.
TDE, aku respect gila TDE in terms of the roster and also the plan that they have lah. The thing about, you know, using your community members to make something out of it, and you know, being at it for a while, even like the producer Ali pun like quite a sought after producer in the States now. So and then kau ada Isaiah Rashad, kau ada SZA. Jarang lah kau jumpa label sekarang yang macam, especially the black label yang very like, you know, bangers only.
Faham.
Especially lepas Kendrick tak ada, tak tahu macam mana TDE lepas ni.
Okay, cool. Okay, now it's time to shop. Okay, Smack dah korek apa semua and kita nak check out apa benda yang dia nak beli. So kau nak beli apa ni, Smack?
First aku nak beli Slaughter Table, noise project daripada Reza, Soy Commander. Dia juga vokalis dan bassist untuk Compulsion to Kill CTK, satu band grindcore yang agak aktif lah. Ada Force Vomit 20th Anniversary Reissue oleh Teenage Shade Record. Force Vomit satu band yang amat penting bagi aku dan Alijo dalam Nogut sekarang. Time tu kita jumpa satu band yang ada gabungan punk dengan surf sound. And Nogut masih pakai sound tu lagi untuk lagu-lagu. Satu lagi band surf punk daripada Gombak aku rasa, ataupun Kuantan atau punk Gombak / Kuantan, Dorsa. Aku tak pernah catch diorang live lagi. Nak catch dari live, basis dia accident ke apa benda, so aku tak jadi pergi gig tu. Aku masih menanti. Check out band Dorsa.
Alright, cool.
Right,
Smack, thank you so much for your time.
Bradley.
Hopefully ni bukan the next 4 years kita jumpa lagi.
Ya, betul. Sampai jumpa kerap lagi lah.
Yep. Alright, thank you. See you guys next round.